Hey, welcome back to another edition of what are we? LFG, the
Great start.
Unfiltered Franchise Podcasts. I am Michael Hyam, I'd like to say host, but Leanne says I'm the co-host and she's the host. And my co-host, Leanne Caruso. Just kidding, Leanne.
Why can't we be
Of course we
co-host,
can.
co-CEO? You don't like to
Yes.
share.
Just starting off with a little bit of fun, Leanne. Don't be so grumpy. All right, Leanne, how's it going? How was your week?
Really good. Yeah, I'm getting ready to go on vacation, so maybe by the time this aired, I'll probably already be back, but sad
Uh,
face.
yes, amazing.
I'm excited. I'm going to the Bahamas
The Bahamas. You
for
staying in
6 days.
Atlantis?
Nope, six
Is that
days, 5 nights, no
is that too
kids.
cliche? Atlantis?
No, Atlantis is great.
Oh, good.
Going to a sandals resort.
Nice. 6 nights, 5 days. Look at you, hot shot. You must
The
you-
opposite, 5 nights, 6 days.
That's great. Good. So thanks for asking. Yes, my week is going great.
You're getting ready to go on vacation. Sorry, I got lost thinking about the Bahamas. You're getting ready to go on vacation. Where are you going?
Yeah, and you're screwing this all up. By the time this airs, I will be in the middle of baby vacation. So, guys, please, for those of you on YouTube, ignore the background because I am on vacation right now. Um, I'm not as cool as Leanne. No sandals for me.
Oh, stop.
Only Miami.
One day you could be as cool as me.
One day, I certainly hope so. What
Oh,
else, Leanne? Who
fingers
do we have
crossed,
coming
fingers
on
crossed.
for today?
Hey, we have one of your ex employers, right? Pam LaBelle. She's amazing. President, founder, CEO of the Business Exchange, and she just recently rebranded as Biz Sold, which I'm excited to hear about.
100%. Pam and I worked together for almost the better part of a decade. Pam is a wonderful and inspirational leader, very well known in the franchise space, running a magazine, franchise portal, does different things like for lead generation through email marketing and Facebook and verified leads and all kinds of great stuff. So super excited to have Pam on here today for sure.
Yep, she's
So,
going to tell us. Well, hold on. She's going to tell us how she generated 500,000 leads for franchise development. So take
love
notes.
it. 500,000 leads. That is phenomenal. So are we getting to it now, Leanne? Or
We can now get to it.
okay, here's what's growing on. This segment is sponsored by Franchise Assembly, a franchise events coming, bringing resources and education to franchise brands and people. Here's what's growing on. So, according to new data from Placer.ai, traffic patterns in California shifted to negative compared to the national average after the minimum wage increase went into place April 1st. California minimum wage increased to $20 an hour. Wow. I mean, here in Canada, I think it's still at 15. But anyways, April 1st, several chains have had to raise their prices up 25% higher. So far, those increases have led to lower foot traffic because of California's higher input costs and higher pricing to offset those costs. Some concepts are avoiding expansion in that state. And I think, unfortunately, that's been happening quite a bit in the most recent years. It's
Yeah,
gonna
but
happen.
I was actually reading that article, and they said that it's some people are saying that it's an opportunity for some of the stale brands to get out and new innovative brands to come in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, no, cool. Could be. I mean, $20 an hour is still $20, but yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
I'm not for any side. I'm just kidding. What am I saying? I mean, this is unfiltered, right? I think it's ludicrous, but I mean, whatever.
Right. Hey, Michael,
Yes. Hi, Leanne.
do you dream of scaling to new heights in the franchise world?
Maybe, yes, I guess,
I
sure.
think you should. I think you should have that dream.
Should I have that dream?
Anyway, here's some news from Yum, Global Franchise Center of Excellence at the University of Louisville. The Accelerating Growth for Franchise Leaders is an initiative created by U of L in collaboration with Yum Brands to help you achieve your goals in restaurant franchise industry. Whether you're managing a single location or aspirations of expanding and you're already on the path to becoming a mega franchisee, Accelerating Growth is your stepping stone to success. So they've started this new program at Yum. And so depending on where you are in your journey, you're either accelerating unit expansion or the accelerating enterprise growth program. They now have scholarship funds available to you. So they have a limited number of applicants that can be awarded a waiver of the full cost of course registration. So anyone with a passion for growing in the restaurant franchise business and experience managing at least one franchise location is invited to apply. Go to business.louisville.edu to learn more. Pretty
That
cool.
is great. Um,
They're doing such great things over at Yum.
you love Yum, huh? I
I do
mean,
love Yum. I mean, I sit on the board, so I'm very proud to be part of it and watch all of the things, the great things that they're doing there.
the things that they're doing, Leanne, yes. Shout out to
Shout out to Dr. Kathy Gosser and Wanda Williams and all the people who are involved. There's just a phenomenal group over there.
Great. I kid. So next up is this is an interesting one. Something that you may or may not know that I'll tell you after I tell you about the North American Securities Administrators Association, better known as NASAA, published and proposed Model Franchise Broker Registration Act, better known as the Franchise Broker Act, for public comment. So, the Franchise Broker Act presents a high-level framework for franchise broker registration and disclosure that can be adopted by individual states. The rationale behind the need for such a bill includes concerns over a certain problematic broker practices as well as franchisee confusion over who a broker actually represents. The objective compares franchise brokers to real estate brokers that have more stringent licensing and continuing education requirements. This would include competency exams or experience requirements, as well as continuing education requirements, financial and insurance requirements, including record keeping requirements and annual registration. And yes, so speaking of Pam and I, many years ago, we actually applied and took out our broker licenses, and so I am an official broker through certification, and I think this is actually probably a good thing. Whereas
Mhm.
I think the $20 thing is nuts because it creates a lot of bad craziness in the environment where it really suppresses ambition and gives people a reason to be okay with not striving for shooting for the stars. This on the other hand keeps people like me in line, whereas if I was a broker, and yes, I am an opportunistic individual, and maybe that might take myself a little bit too far out where I might cross certain lines. I'm just talking out loud here. But this act, what it does is it does keep some of the brokers in line, where they need to recognize that you are literally working with someone, their life savings, and you're not just going to place them for the sake of placing them. There should be some real stringent laws in place, or regulations. At least that's my thought
Mhm.
in working with brokers and prospective franchisees, because you don't want to take anyone for granted, and God forbid something happens to one of these guys and they lose their $300,000 and then they're out because you wanted a commission of sorts, and you didn't take them into account. I'm not talking negatively on brokers at all. Most of them are very, very good. I think there's just probably one or two out there that maybe don't follow the system. But I'm
Mhm.
rattling on, Leanne. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be some requirements and some licensing and certification behind it. I think there's some few bad apples that have kind of messed it up for the rest of them, but I think having a formalized process behind it could just only make franchising better. So I think it's great. And all right, I think that's it. So if you want to share what's growing on in your world, send us an email to podcast@franchiseassembly.com.
Awesome. So before we go on to our franchise royals of the week, let me say that this segment is sponsored by Tenant Financial Group. And here's a little bit more about them. Unlock your franchising potential with Tenant Financial Group, where they treat you individually, crafting tailored funding packages to suit your unique situation. They are here to fund your franchise so you can focus on growing your dreams. From their innovative Rob's 401k funding to SBA loans, leasing, and a range of other loan products, they are your partner in successfully funding your franchise. Visit tenantfinancialgroup.com today and experience the difference. Tenant Financial Group, your trusted partner where franchise funding is simple, transparent, and honest. Shout out to our good friends at Tenant, Derek, Sam, Lindsay. You guys rock.
Yes, we love Tenant. All right, Franchise Royals is where we each pick someone inspiring who's doing something notable in life and business. So, Michael, do you know who your Franchise Royal is this week?
I do know who my franchise royal is. And this one I had to say is Jeffrey Smith of
Ooh, good one.
Peterbrook Chocolatier. Um, for those of our avid listeners, will recall a couple of episodes back, I shouted out a former colleague, Dennis Colvis, who retired from the franchise show. And I have to say that Jeff, when he retired, we had a nice party. We had about 100 franchisors there, and everyone was giving Dennis his send off. Jeffrey took the time on his own accord. He went and purchased a jersey, a hockey jersey from Dennis's favorite team. Not only did he purchase the jersey, but he had it custom embroidered, of course, with Dennis's name, his number. And then on the show floor, we ran around and signed the jersey and had every vendor sign it, had it framed and given to Dennis. Jeff, for those of you who doesn't know Peterbrook, it makes wonderful, delicious chocolate. It is great, and Jeff has also been a great supporter of the franchise show. Jeffrey Smith, shout out to you, my friend. We love you. Leanne.
Yes. Jeff, that was an amazing thing that he did. That was great. Loved that jersey. It's very cool. Very sweet. I think Dennis might have cried.
We
So
might have that on video, actually.
We do
have
have
to
it on
double
video.
check. Do we have it on video?
Yeah. Or maybe he had allergies or something. It was a little wet in there.
It was a really, really touching moment. Honest
Yeah.
to goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Leanne, who do you
Sweet.
have?
Yes. So my franchise royal is Talia McDougall. I don't know if how many people know Talia out there. She used to work at Any Lab Test now, but now she is doing event planning, and she has helped us so much with all of our events, helping us secure the hotel space, doing all of the negotiations. And she is a delight to work with. She's very helpful. She checks in, and she's just been a game changer for us, for masterminds, for Let's Grow. And so we love you, Talia, and thank you for all of your help. And you are our franchise royal for this week.
Woohoo. Thank you, Talia. She is awesome.
Okay, so now it's time for our show and tell segment. This segment is meant to be a show and tell. Our guests will drop some franchise knowledge around their industry. And in this case, we're talking lead gen and common lead gen mistakes, best practices, ideas, thought leadership, etc. So before we introduce our guest, this segment is sponsored by Northeast Color. Northeast Color specializes in brick and mortar branding solutions for the multi-unit and franchise industries. They have years of experience producing branded interior and exterior signage for national chains of all sizes and varieties.
Love it. So this week, I am super excited. We have a personal friend, past colleague, coworker, Pam LaBelle, president, founder, and CEO of the Business Exchange, now known as BizSold. Today, Pam is going to tell us how she has generated over 500,000 qualified franchise leads. But first, Pam, tell us, how's it going? Tell us about
I'm
BizSold. What's new and exciting?
Well, we're just plugging away here. We're coming up with some new services for more lead gen products based on, our customers' needs. A lot of our customers couldn't even handle the amount of leads that we were delivering for them, and they just couldn't sign up for more stuff. So we thought we can help you with your calls. So we've launched some call verification programs. So we've been really busy at Business Exchange. So.
That is great. And I know you guys also help with the franchise show, helping generate some leads online. So always appreciate that. So, Pam, I mean, I know this, but a lot of other people don't. You've been in business for 26 years now. You've seen the franchise industry in its highs and its lows. What have you seen, and where are you now?
So looking back 26 years ago, I started this business because I was looking to buy a business and I couldn't find the marketplace where businesses were being bought and sold. I was like a new-ish grad from university and I really didn't want to go get a job. I wanted to be my own boss. So I started looking into where local businesses were being bought and sold, and I couldn't find anything. And 1998, the internet was pretty much just emerging. It used to be AOL dial-up with the screeching, and you had to wait 5 minutes for the page to download. Remember those days, Michael? Or is it before your time?
It's a little bit before my time, but I heard about it.
Oh, please.
Okay. So, so yeah, like the internet was just emerging. So when I came up with the idea for Business Exchange, the idea was a magazine. So I launched a print magazine in my local market, and I launched my first magazine at the franchise show in Toronto, Fred Show.
There you go.
So that's where I launched the magazine. Franchise shows from day one was like an integral part of our business, and getting the word out there and getting the magazines into the right hands. So it really became something that was really important. We fast forward and we launched our website in the early 2000s. So the internet very quickly became, part of the equation, and we loved the way technology was going. I've always invested in the technology. We launched an app during the pandemic. So, embracing technology. We actually built the app. I guess all those years of being single had paid off. We kind of mimicked what they're doing in the dating app scene. So being able to filter through what industry, investment level, location that someone is looking for, a business or a franchise, and using that swipe right, swipe left technology. But what's really neat, and what really I think is going to be revolutionary, is that people can text directly with their candidate. So if someone swiped right on your franchise opportunity, as a franchisor, you can text directly with the person who's interested in your franchise. I think the biggest challenge in 2024 is that people don't answer the phone if they don't recognize the phone number. So if we can make that system go more smoothly, that we don't have to call and chase someone, that we just seamlessly connect. You texted me, I texted you, we're in the app. I don't have to be calling you. You don't recognize the phone number. You're not going to answer, or you're busy in a meeting. People like texting in 2024. Not everybody does. I mean, you have to pick up the phone. You're going to have a conversation if you want to sell a franchise. But I mean, it's that initial connection. And I think it's that initial connection that is frustrating for the franchisors when they're trying to connect with a potential candidate.
For sure. I could say I definitely don't pick up my phone when I don't recognize the number. And half the time I don't pick it up when I do recognize the number. So
Hey, that's not a good sales thing to say.
just kidding.
Yeah. So technology has changed over the last 26 years. People still want to buy franchises, brick and mortar franchises, home-based business opportunities, which are now more popular because you can actually operate from home. I mean, before the pandemic, people, I don't know, it was like kind of frowned upon if someone was working from home. And now everybody wants to work from home.
So Pam, are you guys the only ones with an app? That's pretty cool.
we're not the only ones with the app, but we're the only ones with an app that really is an app. I mean, a lot of other apps are just mimicking their website. They're just pulling their website into an app platform. It's not really an app. We developed this from scratch, and it's proprietary technology.
That's very cool. So the texting back and forth, does that happens within the app, or does that happen
Within the app. Yeah, the same as a dating app. You know, maybe
Right.
I don't want to give you my phone number. They will get their phone number, but you know, maybe they just don't want that intrusive phone call, or you're going to call me when I'm at work at 9 to 5. I'm looking for a business, but I don't want to talk about that when my boss is standing at my desk.
That's so cool. Does it integrate with any CRMs?
Everything that we do integrates with CRM.
That's very cool. I love that.
That is very
Okay,
cool.
so you've been in this for 26 years, although you look 27, so I don't know how that even
I started when
happens.
he was 1.
So I know that you're a great marketer, and you have generated, I think we've said something 500,000 leads for franchise candidates. So tell us about the marketing strategies, because I know that digital marketing space is big for you guys.
Yes. So, well, we do a number of things. We really have taken an omni-channel approach on how we do business. So we don't want to rely on any one thing, because the reality is that it is like the quickest evolving industry, digital marketing, not necessarily just for franchise development, but just digital marketing in general. You have to go to the conferences every year, or you miss something big that's going on. So we always take an omni-channel approach, and you know, the pandemic really opened our eyes. I can tell you, nobody was Googling businesses for sale when they said you had to stay home. You're going to have to stay home. We're going to stay for 2 weeks, but maybe longer. We're going to get back to you. At those moments, no one was sitting at home on their computer saying, thinking, searching, I want to find a business for sale. Our traffic on our website plummeted. It plummeted for days, and I was concerned. So I spoke with my VP of marketing, and I said, you know, we have to do something. We really need to do something about this. We need to drive traffic to our websites. Our customers still need leads. Even if we're in lockdown, they need leads. So, so we started doing text messaging to our database. We started doing email marketing. We always did email marketing, but we really were driving a lot of the traffic to our website. We didn't have clients that were interested. Actually, it kind of shifted. The franchisors were not interested in attracting new candidates. They're like, oh, how are we going to keep our existing candidates in business during this time? Some franchisors were thriving. Anyone who had like cleaning franchises were booming. They didn't have that problem. But if you're a brick and mortar restaurant chain, it's like, okay, how are we going to make this shift? Not everyone was on Uber Eats yet. Not all these restaurants. And then a lot of the restaurants didn't even have websites. I mean, maybe the franchise restaurants, but even if you look around today, probably a majority of the independent restaurants still don't have a website. So, you know, everybody was kind of trying to jockey for their position and keep their franchisees in business. They didn't want their whole system to implode. So I think the big lesson here is you can't count on one source of traffic. Having an omni-channel approach to driving traffic, how you're going to generate leads to attract new franchisees, keeping your stores healthy from every side of the business, you have to take an omni-channel approach. So go ahead. Were you going to ask me something?
Oh, I was just going to ask you, like, what are you finding that's working best?
Okay. So, I mean, we're doing everything. We are doing everything. You know, I think a really important thing is, okay, first, how you're going to get people into your ecosystem. You know, you're going to have to run ads, organic marketing, you have to get out there. You have to go to trade shows. I mean, I know Michael works at the franchise show, but like trade shows are so important. Meeting people face to face. We all saw the second the world opened, everyone flooded back to the franchise shows. They were busier than ever after the pandemic because people really realized the value of meeting someone face to face.
Yeah. On that note, we actually this entire year, uh, virtually 13, maybe 11 out of 13 shows had higher traffic in those cities than they ever had in our 25 plus year history. So yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, people they want the face to face, and it's important.
We exhibit all your shows, and I've seen the traffic just skyrocket. People are super engaged and wanting to go out to events. And sometimes people ask me, is print dead? Are trade shows dead? No, there's some trade shows that are not thriving, and it's because they're not doing their marketing properly. They haven't adapted to new marketing techniques and technologies. So they're just doing it. They're not doing it correctly. But I mean, you can see your shows, they're packed. They're packed. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in trade shows. I always have been. I launched my magazine at a trade show because the people who get up, they have to get dressed. In the pandemic, you didn't have to get dressed. So
Shave.
okay, get dressed, shave. You know, spend the money on gas or take public transit, pay for parking, spend the day there. They're trying to educate themselves. They're spending time in seminars. They're spending their day speaking to franchisors to learn about new opportunities. These are people that are making the biggest investment, more than just filling out a form online. It's a lot more than filling out a form online. So just the fact that you're bringing out all those people is fabulous, because those are the real buyers. No one's going to invest the day just to hang out at a franchise show, not on a beautiful sunny Saturday or Sunday afternoon. There's no way. So the quality of the people walking through is really incredible. And then doing partnerships or going on podcasts, all these things help give exposure and bring people into your ecosystem. But what's really important is once they're in your ecosystem, that you're actually collecting data, marketing to them. Maybe somebody who inquires on buying a franchise today, maybe today is not the exact right timing for them. So, or maybe the territory that they really like is not available right now for them. There are so many variables that can go into someone wanting to buy the franchise, or maybe they're just thinking about it. I would like to be my own boss. I would like to get into my own business, but they may not be ready to take that leap this second. So as soon as, they start thinking about it, they have to do some research before they actually jump 2 feet in. So just because they're interested or walk a show today, or they're on my website today, it doesn't mean that they're buying today. Maybe they're going to buy in 6 months. Maybe they're going to buy in a year. Maybe in 2 years, they got a severance package from their job, or they inherited some money. So people's situations are constantly changing. So putting that person into your ecosystem is really important, that you keep speaking to them. Look at our successes, share your successes, share what other franchisors or franchisees have accomplished and achieved. Share the success stories. And, then you keep being a reminder to them, because out of sight, out of mind. They already forgot about you if you never contact them again. And I think a lot of franchisors get easily frustrated, like, oh, this is not a great candidate, and just like write the person off. And that's not a good strategy, because in 6 months from now, they could be like, oh, today I'm ready. And if you're not in their inbox, if you don't stay top of mind, if you don't run retargeting ads toward them, then they're just gone. And when they're going to see an ad for a different franchise opportunity, or they're going to walk the next franchise show and say, now the time is right, and they kind of narrowed it down, and you may not be there. Hopefully they are, but if you're not there, someone else is.
Yeah,
So
especially if they're going to trade shows and, brand A is following up with them and brand B decides to stop or doesn't have a good nurture program, then brand A is going to win. But they could have been a great candidate. You had them right in your pocket.
yeah,
It's true. Well, just on that note, A prime example actually is Tim McCarthy of Rosati's just in Orlando 3, I don't know, however many weeks ago that was telling me that he just closed a deal from our Los Angeles event, which happened at the beginning part of 2023. I think it was, maybe March time. So that's about almost a year and a quarter away. So whatever he was doing or working the lead and still on it, I mean, here you go. This is a prime case, exactly what you were saying, that had this person gone back to the franchise show and maybe he wasn't there or he wasn't in constant communication, they would have gone and found another franchise. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And you can easily set up those nurturing programs and they're on automation. It doesn't really have to take up your franchise director's time. So it's a no-brainer. It's a minimal investment. And once you make the investment to set up the nurturing program, it's done. Kind of somewhat set it and forget it. Someone does have to take a look at it, but it's not a franchise director sending an email like, oh, I have to send 1,000 emails today to every single person that has ever contacted me to buy this franchise. It's all on autopilot. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an easy, low-hanging fruit for a franchisor to take their franchise sales to the next level.
It's so true. Why not have it on the drip campaign? Why not, invest in that management software that'll keep things going? Any softwares that you recommend, or our friends Client Tether or Fran Connect or anyone that you've heard good things about?
Uh, I think they're I want to say they're kind of all the same. It's if you're going to use it.
Yeah.
Technology is there.
Yeah.
Whichever CRM you want to use, it's there. It works. Use it. That's
Yeah.
it. I think, the biggest problem is that people just don't use it, or they don't use it for 100% of its capability.
Right.
Yeah. No, for sure. So on that note, I mean, you're obviously good at bringing in leads. What are some common mistakes that you see on the other side of what people do?
Okay. So not understanding where your customers are hanging out, like at the franchise show. You have to go to the franchise show if you want, to get the best quality candidates. You have to, you have to be on the portals. People who are looking to buy franchises go to portals.
Hey,
People,
hold on, Mike. How much did you pay her?
I know. I didn't want to interrupt what I was about to say. Pam, you're hired.
so, I mean, but they hang out at portals. They're going onto portals. They're going onto your website. Make sure your website is good. Make sure you have enough information on there to entice them to want to inquire about your franchise. And one of the biggest mistakes, not calling your leads within 12 hours. I think at Franchise Leadership and Development Conference, they came out with a new stat that 85% of franchises that are sold are contacted in the first 12 hours. So if you want to wait a week to call somebody back to learn about your franchise, they've already spoken with your competition and have moved on, or they've just forgotten about you. And I hear franchisors complaining like, oh, I'm not happy with this portal or this didn't work. How quickly did you follow up? I had actually one client, she ran an email campaign. We generated hundreds of leads for her franchise. I'm not going to mention the name. I saw her at the franchise show and I said, how did your campaign go? And she's like, well, I've emailed all of them and none of them have called me back.
Oh.
No one is buying a franchise from an email, or we would be emailing all day. It
Yeah.
is a way to generate interest, but people are buying franchises from people. They're not buying from an email. This is not a consumer good where, oh, buy my pen and you can order it online for 99 cents right now. This is not a 99-cent product offering. This is usually starting minimum $100,000 to over $1 million of investment. And you have to establish the relationship and the rapport as a franchise director with potential candidates. It's really, it sounds really simple, but a lot of franchise directors think they're going to sell a franchise by sending an email. And if they don't even recognize the franchise director's name, are they going to even open that email? Are you ending up in junk? There's so many things that can go wrong. You have to pick up the phone. You have to send the email. I'm not saying don't send the email, but that cannot be your only form of communication. And, and text message, because different generations like to communicate differently. I know a lot of, like, my kids, nobody picks up the phone and talks. I don't hear my daughter on the phone ever. When I grew up and I was a teenager, I was on the phone nonstop. I made my parents give me my own phone line in my bedroom because I wanted to talk on the phone nonstop.
Yeah.
So, like, for us to get on the phone, it probably wouldn't be like such a weird thing. But I call my kids and they're like, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
So, different generations like to communicate differently.
Yeah.
Having a poor lead nurturing process, we kind of touched on that earlier, but you want to create some kind of lead nurturing process, and not just always selling. Nurturing doesn't mean that you're always selling. It could be like, oh, we just sold this territory. Here's our brand new franchisees. Oh, these franchisees won an award in their local community, and this is the difference that they're making in their community. So share those success stories. The new FDD comes out with an item 19, and the item 19 looks great. Share that. You don't always have to be selling like buy my franchise, but share your wins. People want to be part of a winning team. So when they're creating their ad campaigns, we have a lot of franchisors when they reach out to us and they want so much information on the potential candidate. That's what picking up the phone is for. You're not going to sell the franchise, or you're not even going to say on this field form, this person looks like an ideal candidate, because a few things go wrong with that. A lot of people don't want to spend the time to read all the questions. They may often pick the thing that is at the very top of the list. Also, depending on different cultures, if you want to say, how much money do you have? Depending on the culture, some cultures are very humble and they will never want to put on a form how much money they have. So they're always going to pick the lowest number just because they're humble. And then other cultures are very, they like to brag. And maybe it's not true either. You really need to have a conversation, engage this information for its accuracy anyways. So you got to pick up the phone.
Yep.
And then the more fields makes ads way more expensive. And you're not really getting great information just because you made your ad more expensive. Then sending your lead to your website. You always want to capture information. You can then send them to your website, but look how many tabs are on the top of your navigation bar. If there's so many tabs, look how many places people can get lost on your website. So you don't want to just send them to your website. And people's attention span now with like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you're scrolling through your news feed, people's attention span for anything is about, well, especially when they're on online platforms, is about 3 or 5 seconds. That's it. You don't want them wandering around on your website. You want to capture their information. And then just making a confusing call to action. People don't really know what you want them to do. So you just want to be really clear on what you're asking them to do.
Yeah, love it. No, I mean, first of all, I hate to say it, but common sense isn't so common. I mean, that's going to be my tagline. No, but in fairness, I think a lot of it has to do, even especially with a lot of the more emerging brands, they don't necessarily know. When you talk about calling leads within 12 hours, you're 100% right. I mean, you need to call them within the first 12 minutes of when you got that information. But I mean, I have to agree with you so much. And I say this about the emerging brands because they might be running a pizza shop, and they're new to franchising. So they have no idea what it is. I mean, they're making pizza, right? And they're selling something that they don't really need to sell. And so for them, they don't recognize that, I've had the same exact example on the franchise show floor where someone will come and I'll be like, hey, how was the show? There was literally over 1,000 people there. And they'll be like, well, nobody called me back. And I'll be like, nobody called you back. Did you not collect any of the information? Did you not follow up with anyone? Because, if you're not doing it, one of the other 100 vendors is. And so I think that process maybe is missing there. They just,
Well, even like how you work a show, and I've seen at a show and it was the owner of the franchise. It's not even a worker, but someone standing at the back of the booth and like being on their phone, texting, I don't know, social media, and they're not engaging. I've seen people set up a desk across blocking their entire booth and set up their laptop, and they're sitting there on their computer. And you have to be approachable. So what you put into a lot of these things are what you're going to get out of them. So it's not like,
yeah.
oh, I'm going to take a booth at a franchise show. Oh, I'm going to build a beautiful website. I'm going to make all these phone calls. Let's say you call and you don't leave messages, or you don't text them. If you only do part of the process, doesn't mean the process is going to work. You have to do it all, and you have to do it all properly. And you have to train your people. If you're going to have a booth full of people, you all have to be on the same page on, how to behave. I do not allow having chairs in my booth, because I don't want anyone sitting. If you're sitting, no one's coming up to talk to you. So, I mean, that's a big
Totally
tip for
agree.
any franchisor. Like, just
So
don't
true.
even book the chairs. Maybe Michael take them off the menu of the things that they can order.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no one should be sitting at a franchise show.
Oh, it's so true. Oh my gosh. Talk about that all day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can probably do a separate podcast on how to work your booth.
Yeah.
So,
Trade show
Oh,
etiquette.
totally. Yeah.
Oh, this has been great. Thank you so much, Pam. If people have more questions or they want to learn more about Biz Sold, how can they find you, and tell us about what's this 30-minute free lead generation consultation?
yeah, if there's any franchisors out there that are looking to get a free consultation, they can speak with one of our consultants. And just, if they're on YouTube right now, they can scan the QR code, or they can go to bizsold.com/meeting, and they'll just get a 30-minute free consultation and get more tips like the ones we've shared with them today.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you, Pam. Yeah, that's
Have a good
great.
night, Michael.
Great information.
Thank you.
All right. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us grow. Also, please subscribe on Spotify and/or YouTube. So we'll see you in a couple weeks for more unfiltered news and education from both sides of the border. And in the meantime, here's what's on our calendar and our final segment, Franchise Mingle, brought to you by the National Franchise Show. So Michael, tell us about all the events, and I bet Pam's going to be at most of these.
Yes. So we do have our 5 events coming up for the fall. We have Tampa, Philly in September. We have Atlanta and Jacksonville in October, and then we have Los Angeles in November. We have also released our spring 2025 schedule. I'm not going to bore everyone with that right now, but certainly if Florida, Georgia, anywhere across the country that you're looking for leads, please feel free to reach out. We can put you in touch with the people that can help you. But we also have the IFA Advocacy Summit that's coming up in September. Franchise Springboard also in September. FBR's Operations Summit is happening in October. By the way, if you want information on any of these events, feel free to reach out and we can point you in the right direction. Let's Grow Canada, which we are super excited about. And Pam's actually joining and is going to be giving a content session there as well. So we're super excited about that. The conference is happening November 6th and 7th in Toronto. Then we also have recently announced our Let's Grow in Dallas, which is going to happen February 2nd through to the 4th. Registration and sponsorship is open for both. And then finally, I don't know why we don't talk about some of the Canadian events, but we certainly have a whole bunch coming up. We have Toronto coming up in September. Then we have Ottawa and Calgary and Montreal all coming up this fall as well. So any franchisors that are out there and maybe looking to expand north of the border, feel free to reach out and we can point you in the right direction to get signed up for those as well.
People might be super surprised to know that the Toronto show is actually the most well-attended franchise show across Canada and the US. I
Yeah.
don't think people realize that.
No,
You know what?
no.
I'm excited because the weekend of the Tampa franchise show, which is where I live, I'm going to the Toronto franchise show. So I'm excited to go to that one for the first time.
Nice.
Oh, it's
So I
gonna,
won't see
you're
you in
gonna be
Tampa.
surprised. You're gonna be very surprised.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
show was insane.
Yeah, very exciting. All right. This episode is brought to you by Tenant Financial Group, Northeast Color, the National Franchise Show, and Franchise Assembly. Bye. See you in a
Awesome.
couple weeks.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.